of a perfect soldier. Do you think Captain America? Good choice. I would think he's a perfect soldier too. But what if I told you there are two pretty good soldiers from video games that could probably not only challenge Captain America pretty darn well, but could challenge each other pretty darn well too. I'm pitting two of the most famous soldiers from video games against each other. No, not Master Chief and Doom Guy, and no, not anyone else you could probably think of from most popular game franchises. No, I'm talking of course about two blonde, super strong, buff, macho soldiers. I'm talking of course about Street Fighter soldier Colonel William Guile and alien ass whooper Officer Duke Nukem. These two soldiers are pretty darn famous in their respective universes, but we're gonna bring those two universes together to find out of the two who is the better soldier, who comes out on top in this battle. But most importantly, the biggest question of all, who would win? The year is 1960. A little boy by the name of William Guile was born in 1991. At the age of 31, he made his first appearance into the world of Street Fighter. He joined the USA Air Force and rose up through the ranks and became a colonel. Many years later, his partner Charlie was killed while on a mission to get information about M. Bison, and that drove Guile to go after Bison no matter what it cost him. Eventually, he would form the Street Fighters, who are a group of the world's greatest fighters to battle against the forces of M. Bison and his organization, known as Shadaloo, to save the world and get revenge for his partner. He was forever known throughout the world as Guile, the greatest soldier to ever grace the battlefield. Standing 5'11", currently from Street Fighter V appearance, at the age of 56, Guile is still on the case of finding M. Bison and bringing him to justice. I support you, Guile. God bless you. On his first outing, he was sent by the CIA to stop an evil doctor from taking over the world, and he was very successful. On his second outing, he was tasked with stopping an alien invasion. On his third, and possibly final outing, he did it once again, this time with some style. He stands 6'4". At the age of 45, this one man saved the world twice from alien invasion and looked like a macho badass while doing it. His name is simply Officer Duke Nukem. Okay, let's move on to the strength category. We're already on categories, so let's move on to the first one. Is always strength. So I'm going to talk about Duke Nukem's right now. Duke Nukem's physical strength is as such. He can bench press 600 pounds several times. He can one-shot punch aliens that normally take up to 10 bullet shots to kill. And once he has taken steroids, his strength gets doubled. Pretty good, not bad, I'm not gonna lie, that is some serious strength. But what about his opponent, Colonel William Guile? Well, this is as such. A combination of his speed, Guile blitzed Jury and sent her sliding backwards. How far? Not certain, but pretty far enough, showing that he's incredibly strong and pretty darn fast on his feet. He can flash kick Blanca and send him flying into the air, and with only a couple of sonic booms, he did quite a lot of the 12s. If you don't know who the 12s are, they are a series of robots made by Shadaloo. In the game, Guile can flash kick anyone of any given weight in literally over 10 feet into the air. Damn! And if you don't know what the flash kick is, it's literally a backflip kick. Guile is also able to suplex anyone of any given weight, even the heaviest fighter in Street Fighter games, Honda, who weighs over nearly 600 to 700 pounds. That is a heavy dude. And there are people of equal size and weight to him. And also, fun fact, did you know that Zangief nearly weighs over 500 pounds just on his own from his sheer muscle and size? I mean, I can't blame him. The dude's like over 7 feet tall, and he's pure muscle. And in both the video games and some of the cartoon series, Guile has been able to outstrength Ryu. And if you have listened to the last time I talked about Ryu, you know that Ryu is strong enough to lift a boulder over his head in base form, and in his final form is strong enough to lift the largest tree on the earth. So yeah, Guile is pretty darn strong, even in the video game universe. So who wins? Well, even though Guile can flash kick E Honda, who weighs roughly over 600 pounds, Duke Nukem can bench press 600 pounds several times. And so that means Duke Nukem's arms are just as strong as Guile's kicks. Yeah, Guile has to kick to lift that much weight, whereas Duke Nukem can bench press it easily. In other words, he's doing it casually. Well, not casually, he's just doing it as a workout, whereas Guile is forcing himself to do so. So sadly, in the strength category, Street Fighter has lost. Duke Nukem takes strength. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the speed category. Let's talk about Guile's speed. Guile is so fast, he dodged surprise attacks from Alex and defeated him straight afterwards. He can avoid Birdie's strikes and take him out with a single flash kick. He pulled pins from Roletto's grenades while fighting him. And if you don't know who Roletto is, he's a character who appeared in Street Fighter EX. And was a playable character in Street Fighter Cross Tekken. So yeah, he fought him, pulled out all of his pins, and well, probably caused him to run away because he was like, oh shit, my grenades are gonna go off. So yeah. So not only was he going hand to hand with this guy, who's also a soldier of sorts, because he's known as Lieutenant Relento, I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. He fought against this other well-trained soldier, and in the midst of the battle was pulling out pins from his jacket. That's pretty impressive. But let's see how fast his opponent is, Duke Nukem. Duke Nukem's speed is unknown, but is possibly at peak physical for a person of his size and stature. And it can be doubled with steroids. Well, this is pretty easy. Due to the unknown part of how fast Duke Nukem is, and given that Guile has literally three feats of speed over Duke Nukem only having one that is uncertain, Guile wins in the speed category. Okay, moving on. Next up is, but of course, the stamina. Well, let's go on to Duke Nukem once again. His stamina is possibly at peak physical and can be increased by drinking alcohol. Not bad. Peak physical, pretty good. What about Guile? Guile is probably is more than likely at peak physical stamina thanks to his soldier training. And thanks to the fact that he's also a fighter, so he has, well, two different types of stamina. He has prolonged stamina due to probably drills and running from his soldier training, and he has fighting stamina. So, well, seeming how Guile is faster and probably would need more stamina to be that fast, I'm gonna give the slight edge to Guile. Okay, quickly moving on to the next category. And the next category will be martial arts / fighting styles. Well, fairly straightforward for Guile. He is well versed in boxing and pro wrestling, given the fact that he does drop kicks and a lot of bare body German suplex style grabs and a lot of boxing style ducks and punches. But he does have some pretty athletic style of kicks, given the backflip kick, the literal jump up, turn upside down fucking side kick. I don't even know how the hell he pulls that off. And some of the actual just regular jumping back kicks. I feel like Guile copied a few attacks of Kung Fu and Karate. The jumping back kick, definitely Karate or Taekwondo style move. The backflip kick, definitely Kung Fu. Don't know which one specifically, but I feel like he kind of copied off Chun-Li there. And as for the jumping upside down sidekick, he must have watched some weird kung fu movie, because I have no idea what martial art style that's from, but that is a wicked move. Anywho, onto the fighting style of Duke Nukem. His fighting style is boxing and brutal. So in other words, he'll use big boots, strong knees, and he'll just go ape shit. He'll go brutal. But his main style that's recognized is boxing. Given that Guile knows boxing, pro wrestling, and has copied a few moves from Asian style martial arts, I feel like the edge once again goes to Colonel William Guile. Where Duke Nukem, while yes, does have a very brutal style of fighting, Guile has two known martial art styles of fighting and has copied several moves from other styles from other countries. So I'm giving the edge here to Guile. Alright, moving on to the next category. The next category being special moves. Sadly, for Duke Nukem, he does not have any. So, in a way, he kind of loses this one already. But I will list the special moves for Guile. Guile has the Sonic Boom, where Guile throws a crescent-shaped wave of energy by literally stretching his arms back and clapping his wrists. I have no idea how he pulls this off, but that is actually really cool. His flash kick is energy based. Whenever he does it, an energy effect appears on his foot. So not only is he kicking you with his literal foot, he's kicking you with energy as well. Also, he can do it twice by using an EX version of the flash kick, which is also known as the double flash. He also has Flash Explosion, where Guile crouches down before proceeding to deliver a multi-hitting flash kick that then follows up with another flash kick, which only hits once but deals massive damage. Holy crud. He also has the Sonic Hurricane. Guile unleashes a massive sonic boom which whirls in place directly in front of him. In the crossover games, it has a vacuum effect, pulling in nearby opponents. So yeah, this Sonic Hurricane literally is not only a giant sonic boom, it's a literal hurricane. That is awesome. He also has Sonic Tempest, where Guile flexes his muscles and fires a stronger version of the Sonic Hurricane. So if you thought the Sonic Hurricane was already bad enough, try Sonic Tempest. Holy crud. I don't think I need to tell you, but Guile easily wins the special moves category. This point goes to Guile once again. Okay, moving on to the next category on the list. It is durability. No, sorry. My bad. Power type and powers. Well, Guile uses Ki/Chi. He also has super strength and is super acrobatic. Also, he would be super fast thanks to that speed feat I mentioned before. And definitely super acrobatic with that jumping upside down back kick. Like, how the hell does he do that? He probably has some other hidden super abilities, but that's mostly about it. As for Duke Nukem doesn't really have any actual power types, but he actually has power-ups, which I will allow. He has steroids, which increases speed and strength, and alcohol, which increases his stamina and his durability somewhat. Which is not too bad. So while Duke Nukem has power-ups, which increase some other abilities, Guile actually has some legitimate powers. He can use Chi, which is a internal metaphysical energy, a form of energy from a state of mind, and he also has super strength, he's also super acrobatic, and he has super speed. Whereas Duke Nukem is naturally strong and fast, but he gains more through steroids and alcohol. Not a really good mix if you ask me. So, given the fact that Duke Nukem needs power-ups to get stronger, while Guile has natural superpowers, this point, once again, I have to say, goes to Guile. Moving on again, the next category this time is durability/armor. Well, as for Duke Nukem, he does not have any actual armor, but his ego is so strong he can survive extreme punishment from physical attacks and gunfire, and can be increased through drinking alcohol. But he technically has no armor. Like he's literally wearing a vest. Not very smart there, but somehow his ego acts as like a invisible armor, or just makes him incredibly more durable. So yeah, he's more durable because he's super egotistical. Isn't that just funny? Whereas Guile, he cracks the ground after being thrown by Bison into it. Damn! He can block blows from he can block some blows from the Sasui no Hado empowered Sakura. I didn't even know Sakura could call upon the Sasui no Hado, but he can block blows from someone who's empowered by the Sasui no Hado, probably the most powerful power-up in Street Fighter. That is impressive. And he can take several claw strikes from Vega. Holy crud. He can survive several claw strikes from Vega, who literally has a metal claw? That is just damn. He also got lifted into the air by strikes from Jury, and was just fine. T.N.G. Now that's just impressive. But also he has no armor. So both of these guys have no armor. So this kind of leaves them both at a disadvantage. Duke Nukem has incredible durability thanks to his ego. But his ego will eventually run out over time. Guile has way more impressive feats of durability than Duke Nukem. So sadly, for all you Duke Nukem fans, as egotistical as he may be, his durability has not shown any good feats that I've looked up and listed down. So I'm sorry, but Guile wins the durability section. But they both lose because they don't wear armor. Kind of a shame. Anywho, moving on to the next one is weapons. Guile has, sadly, no weapons, which kinda sucks. But as for Duke Nukem, he can pick up an average everyday pistol, shotgun, assault gun, rocket launcher, silenced Uzi, and etc. But he has special weapons, as one of them is known as the freeze thrower, which literally is like the opposite of a flamethrower. It freezes people in place. He has the shrinker gun, which literally can shrink someone down to the size of a little kitten. He also has a Silo Stinger missile launcher. He has a missile launcher that shoots Stinger missiles. How the hell he's holding that, I will never know. So with the fact that Duke Nukem, my apologies. Yeah, the fact that Duke Nukem has so many weapons, Guile just gets, well, almost raped here. Weapons goes to Duke Nukem. Moving on to special abilities, Duke can use his ego as a shield against a multitude of attacks. So almost any attack you can think of, his ego can protect it from most of it. But I don't think he's going to be surviving, say, I don't know, like something like a Hadouken or a Kamehameha straight to his face. Yeah, you're strong, Duke, but you are not strong enough to survive that. Whereas, for Guile, he has many special abilities. He can call upon the Omega power to break through enemies' defenses no matter how strong it is. And in doing so, it can knock an enemy unconscious. And if you want to know what the Omega power is, it's a special black energy power that anyone in the Street Fighter universe can call upon. Think of it as like, I don't know, an extra boost in strength, just like a second breath of sorts. Or kind of like a build-up in your strength. Can't really explain it fully, but it's just a special power in the Street Fighter universe. Also, after taking a lot of damage, he can build up a revenge/rage/ultimate meter and deal some of his more devastating attacks to get payback. Also, some of his ultimate attacks can knock out cold or kill men up to 8 feet tall and weighing over 500 pounds, no problem. So yeah, someone who's 8 feet tall, like Zangief, near enough, and weighs over 500 pounds, again, like Zangief, or even Sagat, his ultimate attacks can either knock them out cold, or if he hit them while they're weak enough, can literally kill them. Yeah, his ultimate attacks are that strong. So yeah. So who wins? Well, Duke has his ego, which can make him survive a multitude of attacks. And Guile has a literal multitude of attacks, but if he takes a lot of damage, he can build up a special meter that can let him deal some of his best attacks and get revenge for being beaten up. Also, here's the thing that actually beats Duke Nukem's ego ability. It acts as an invisible armor. But remember, the Omega power can be called upon and break an enemy's defense no matter how strong. Yeah, no matter how strong. In other words, no matter how egotistical Duke Nukem is, if Guile does one Omega strike on him, he can break his literal ego and make him incredibly vulnerable to, say, I don't know, a flash kick or a sonic boom, or hell, just a straight up really hard uppercut could actually kill him. But if Guile's did, I'll say, an Omega strike broke Duke Nukem's ego, and then did something like the Sonic Hurricane, yeah, I think Duke Nukem is going to die. So special abilities goes to Guile. Literally, no challenge. Transformations, technically, Guile has none, but neither does Duke Nukem, so no point for either of them. Moving on to intellect. Guile is very intelligent and strategic. He, as would be expected, being a soldier. Not only is he a soldier, he's a colonel, so he would have to be a lot more strategic in his approach. Whereas Duke Nukem is meant to be very smart, as he worked for the CIA, and most people in the CIA have to be very clever and on the ball, but he is very overconfident and egotistical. So we have one guy who's meant to be smart because he worked for the CIA, and one guy who's smart and strategic because he's a soldier in the Air Force. So, but the other person is very overconfident and egotistical. So who wins? Is it the guy who's meant to be smart but egotistical and overconfident, or the guy who's none of those bad things and is probably just as smart and actually strategic? Well, yeah. I think you know where I'm going with this. Guile wins in intelligence. Okay, weaknesses. For Duke Nukem, if he drinks too much alcohol, it can leave him dizzy and slightly more vulnerable. Whereas Guile, he has not many weaknesses, but he can be beaten up by opponents as well trained as he is, and also by better opponents. But other than better training and not many weaknesses are shown throughout the story of Street Fighter for Guile. So yeah, unless you're just straight up a better fighter or better equipped, you're not taking Guile down that easily. So see how Guile doesn't have that many weaknesses, but Duke does if he drinks too much alcohol? Yeah. You can tell which one has an actual legitimate weakness. It's Duke. So okay, technically Duke doesn't win the weakness part, but in a way he kinda does, because it's meant to be prove who's weaker. Okay, no. Let me explain this better. Guile, it wins because he's less weaker than Duke. Yeah, that makes more sense. So, if I remember correctly, with a tally of, well, I've tallied it up. Duke Nukem wins 2 points, while Guile wins 9. So yeah, with a score of 9-2, the winner of this battle is Guile. Colonel William Guile. He is the superior fighter and superior soldier. Holy crud. This is actually one of my shorter discussion videos. Maybe it's the way I did it? I'm not entirely sure. If you guys recognize what I've done here differently to what I do in my other battles, do tell me in the comments below. There's just so much time I have left now. I almost want to do like a battle scene. I've not done one of those in ages. So you know what, I'm just going to do a little quick scenario, which will take maybe 2 minutes. Okay, so these two are in a base, and they meet each other, and you know, Duke Nukem wants to prove he's better than Guile as a better soldier and a better officer. Guile accepts the challenge. They both have all their equipments and all of their abilities all at max. They first go fisticuffs. Guile is easily outspeeding Duke and now martial arting him. He's lasted a lot longer thanks to his stamina. His special abilities make him way better. Duke realizes he's not fast enough to keep up with Guile, so he starts taking steroids to try and keep up. He manages to keep up ever so slightly thanks to taking steroids, and some of his punches are actually starting to wear Guile down a bit, because Duke is proving he's surprisingly a lot stronger. But Guile starts getting into his more common defensive stance, as you see in the games. He starts to crouch out, starts to dodge, block, and evade most attacks. He starts thinking strategically. He starts using more stronger attacks like big hard uppercuts, roundhouses, big side kicks, jumping kicks, drop kicks, and starts using grapple moves. While Guile may not be able to outstrength Duke, he can easily out-wrestle him. Duke is having enough of this and whips out all of his guns. Guile has to go on the defensive and dodge most of them. Duke manages to get a couple of shots and a couple of explosions off near Guile thanks to his stinger missiles. Then Duke tries to pull out the shrinker gun and manages to get one lucky shot on Guile. Trying to step on Guile was a big mistake. Guile is now smaller and not an easy target to get. And remember, the shrinker gun does not last forever. It will eventually wear off. So Guile just keeps avoiding Duke for as long as he can. In fact, he starts to climb on Duke and hides in his shirt in hopes that he will be safe. But the funny thing is, even though Guile is now smaller, he still retains his mass. And Guile roughly weighs about 300 pounds of pure muscle. After regrowing back, Guile has Duke in a headlock and literally lobs him across the entire room. Guile then blitzes over, breaks the gun that Duke is holding, starts beating him up. Duke starts feeling a bit egotistical and builds up his durability a little more. He tanks some of Guile's attacks, trying to show that he can't beat him. Then Guile quickly calls upon an Omega-powered strike and breaks all of Duke's ego. Guile then performs a flash kick on Duke, sending him soaring 10 feet into the air. While waiting for him to come down, Guile prepares a sonic boom which connects to Duke Nukem. Guile then charges in again and does a pro wrestling German suplex to toss him again. Not giving him any opportunities to get back up, Guile hits Duke with a flash explosion where he hits him with one flash kick and then hits him with another one, dealing deadly damage. And not giving him a second chance to even get back up and try anything, Guile ends this fight with one sonic hurricane, sucking in Duke, and having him be literally consumed in an energy aura of pure ki and just an overbearing hurricane of energy. Duke comes out of the sonic hurricane, falls straight on the floor unconscious. The winner of this little demonstration is Guile. Well then, that was certainly something. This was a lot quicker than the last recording I did. Maybe I've just figured out a brand new format or something. I have no idea what I've done, but I'm glad I've done it, because this is much shorter. Anyway guys, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to join the Hedgehog Army /Nation today, share with all your friends. Make sure you check on my posts, because I post a little bit more often than I used to now. And make sure you follow me on all my social media handles. They're on my channel. Make sure you look for the previous who will win and the next who will win after this. Hope you guys love this video. Hope you guys enjoy. There will be a playlist link at the end of this video for you to watch all of my who will wins, including these new ones and the previous ones I've done before. That being said, thank you guys for watching. If you have any suggestions for any who will wins, leave them in the comments below, please. I will take them into consideration. Thank you guys for watching. Stay awesome, and as always, flash kick. Hiya!